We don't show prep. So, so he had no idea.
I just barely make it in.
I'm sure you can tell, but we don't show.
I mean, let's put the cards down on the table here.
Illustrious. Styles.
Miami Hurricanes, yeah. You know the name already. It's Mercy. Ha ha. It's a 6 Rick Kane show. Can't forget the name though. Got Jazz, Blue, Vision, DJ, break the game code. Ain't no changing them, ain't no breaking them. Real Portland live from the Hard Rock Stadium. Ball 14 for the orange and green. We see the 6 Rick champs. It's more than a dream. This is life on the field. Beyond 100 yards, a hurricane that's never still put a damage to your squad. The 6 Rick Kane show. The 6 Rick Kane show. The 6 Rings Kane show. You know.
What's wrong with us? Seriously.
What's wrong with us? We're Miami Hurricanes fans.
Welcome to the 6 Rings Kane Show, a show dedicated to Miami Hurricane sports, featuring the legendary Larry Bluestein, Jazz Santana, Vish, and Danny Gillette. Let's go Canes.
Hello. Welcome back to the 6 Rings Kane Show, joined by DJ and Blue. Jazz is in transit driving up Florida to Orlando for work. He'll try to be in around 9, but till then, you got the three of us. DJ Blue, how's it going?
Good.
Doing good. I asked DJ, he's getting snowed in.
Miserable. Absolutely miserable. And don't even start.
Wait, no, hold on, Blue. I don't know if you've checked the weather forecast for this weekend here, though.
In Miami?
Have you seen this?
What?
An Arctic cold front is forecast to move through South Florida early next weekend. Coldest air since 2010. There's potential for lows to drop into the 30s across a good portion of the weekend and into the 20s west of Lake Okeechobee.
I'll be in Orlando.
You're going to really get it. Then it's going to be in the 20s and teens, I think, up there.
You're making jokes now, Vish, but it's not going to be so funny.
I know. They came home to roost. But anyway, we'll get to that. Probably not, actually. But we'll get to some football talk in a second after we do our sponsor, 305-800-PAIN. After an accident, every minute counts. With one call to 305-800-PAIN, you get immediate access to trusted doctors and attorneys who guide you step by step. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, they are a brand you can trust. Much like 5 Reasons Canes, 305-800-PAIN is focused on the local community of Miami-Dade County and South Florida. They'll handle all your accident needs, including car accidents, personal injuries, and related legal matters. So after an accident, be sure to call 305-800-PAIN. The number is the brand, 305-800-PAIN. Después de un accidente, cada minuto cuenta. Con una llamada 305-800-PAIN, ustedes pueden obtener acceso inmediatamente a doctores y abogados para con todo el proceso. Con una clasificación de A+ del Better Business Bureau, pueden confiar en ellos. 305-800-PAIN tiene mucho en común con los 5 razones Canes. Están enfocados en la comunidad local de Miami-Dade County y el Florida del Sur. Ellos pueden ayudar con todo después de un accidente, incluyendo accidentes de carro, lesiones personales y otros costos legales relacionados. Entonces, después de un accidente, llama 305-800-PAIN. El número es el nombre de la marca, 305-800-PAIN. All right, well, while the rest of the country freezes and we have nice warm weather in South Florida, at least for the next few days, guys, can you believe that a week ago at this time, the championship game was just kicking off? Feels like a million years ago, but we are only a week removed. Obviously, a lot's happened. We're talking about some of the portal movements. But I guess, Blue, DJ and I have done a couple of shows since the national championship game. But interested to get your thoughts kind of overall on how that went. And then also just, your thought, like how you're feeling a week out from the Canes, I guess, finishing national runner-up here.
Well, obviously, Miami had their chances, and we know that, and kind of a frustrating game. And, I sat in there, and I've seen 9 games this year with Miami Live, and was in every press conference afterwards. And this was by far the toughest one. Even the Louisville game was tough because they lost, but this was, I said to somebody who was in the press conference, I said, I'd much rather have lost 35-0 than to lose the way you did, because then you kind of dealt with it instead on the last drive. And then you look back at some of the mistakes they made. That punt, what the hell was Bauman thinking? Especially when you have a punter who sprints right. So you're pushing people to the right. Made no sense. It seemed like if you ever thought, hey, boy, they're throwing that game. Look at that guy throwing that game. Yeah. And listen, I'm not going to take anything away from Indiana. Good football team. But Miami definitely really showed the country that they're an elite team, and they're an elite program now. So no moral victories. Anything less than a national championship appearance from now on is going to be a disappointment. And I just think that you look at the talent that they have coming in, and there's no excuse for Miami not to run the table. They've got the talent. They match up with everybody that they play. And, you lose kids every year, or players every year, but the players that they have coming in, and we'll talk later about this class that they have. The 2026 class is the best class they've ever had. I looked at it top to bottom, ever, even back in the day, because back in the day you had 4, 5, 6 guys. This one, you're still talking at the bottom of this list about Joel Irvin, and you're talking about some of those studs that are coming in off of this class, and mixed in with the portal. Yeah, there's no reason Miami's going to have just as good. Miami offense could be a lot like it was 2 years ago. Really, because you're going to have all these playmakers. And I will tell you this, first guy, like they say, this year with Malachi Tony and Fitzgerald, yeah, Samorian Wingo. This kid will be I think he'll be the best freshman in the country. He's got an opportunity to be one of the best. I watched clips of him. He over Beckered Becker in the lead up to the game. He was so much better than what Becker was, that it took those passes by Mendoza to the back shoulder, those two for the first down. It took that type of precise thing, because what he did, I heard, to this defensive backs was just turn them out. So I'm excited about this team, this program. And next year, when we're doing our predictions, when
you're all coming home to me, huh?
when Vish comes up with a 12-0 record, I won't snicker.
I mean, I was wrong on the record, but they almost made me a truth sayer in the end there. So, Blue, you mentioned that, certainly from a Payne standpoint, having the game, and you mentioned the block punt was, I don't know that we'll ever know what he was doing there. He obviously was a misread or something. I don't know. And actually, if you look, Indiana was in punt safe because it was 4th and 1. And they were and that was just the defensive and just rushing the pass, like rushing like they always do. I'm like, oh, no one blocked me. I can block this. It wasn't even really trying to block it. But there was that. There were several plays where the defense needed to get off the field. Keep in mind, the defense didn't get a stop after that. There was a long touchdown drive and a long field goal drive. Obviously, the interception at the end. There was all these plays to be made that you're like one play here or there. So it's more painful in that sense, but I feel that had the Canes gotten blown out, it would have undone a lot of what they like. If they went in there like Alabama and Oregon just got their brains beat off, it would have looked like, well, if they were just on the other side of the bracket, they wouldn't have gotten out of the second round or whatever. Whereas by really, and again, we talked about this in one of the shows DJ and I did, but the statistical analysis says the Canes win that game 86% of the time. So that's really painful. It's like, oh God, it was right there for the winning. But on the other hand, at least does show that they're unequivocally were the second best team. It wasn't like they just, the bracket worked out certain where, sometimes you're like the semifinals, the actual final, because like that was not the case at all. And so I do think in terms of building off of it, I do think if they'd gone in there and Indiana just won by 30, it would have undone a lot of what the Canes did to get to that point, just because it would have been like, well, we actually weren't that good. It was just the teams we got to play were not as good as Indiana. If we had seen Indiana early in the playoffs, we would have gotten blown out then. And especially at home like that wouldn't have gone over well. So I do think, while it's more painful, it's easier to build off of something like this than it would be to build off of something where you got blown out. But we'll see. So I guess, how are we feeling about this season? Then a little wrap up here, and then we'll obviously talk portal. That the schedule drops. We're going to break that down. But how are you guys feeling about the season? Because it was not. Look, this team. I obviously picked them to win a lot. But you guys were closer on the schedule prediction than I was. Got with the last at-large team in, and then did damage with that opportunity. So, I mean, they won more big games in the last month than they have in the last 20 years. So it certainly changes the perspective entirely from where it was. Like if they had just put Notre Dame in instead of Miami and they'd gone to the pop-top roles, we'd be having a very different conversation than we're having right now. So how do you feel overall about – we'll start with you on this, DJ, since you're so much it. How are you overall feeling about how this finished 13-3, obviously finished ranked second, but, didn't even make the ACC championship game. It's a very up and down roller coaster season.
It's interesting because overall I'm happy with the season, and I'm happy, honestly, that they lost to Louisville and SMU, because I think that led them to kind of take a look in the mirror and see what they needed to fix. And towards the end of the season, and you both have talked about this on previous shows, you started to see them kind of find their rhythm, find their offensive identity, and get into a groove. And it took those – and I think it took losing those two games to really kind of assess where they were and, what they needed to do to get better. Once they identified those and once they did that, then they started rolling. And that included, tough games against Texas A&M in the playoffs, Ohio State, and, Ole Miss. And overall, although, the season didn't end the way we wanted, I was very impressed with the way they bounced back after – especially the SMU loss, because by then even I was feeling, a little doubtful about their chances. But, obviously a national championship win would have been, what we wanted, and, it would have been awesome to be wearing a championship shirt right now. But at the same time, I think this team showed that they're battle tested, and for me, it erased a lot of doubts about Mario.
Yeah, what about you, Blue? What's your overall feeling coming out of the season?
Yeah, they weren't blown out of any game. That was usually, there's some games that you'll get beat by 21, and they just never did. They mistakes they made, the interceptions, like you said, even in the Indiana game on that third down and long. They had that face mask, and if they would have stopped them there, Indiana would have punted from their own 20-yard line, and you never know. I mean, but I think the big thing is when Fletcher took off on that run, I think everybody there believed that Indiana was a mortal team, and that Miami wasn't just there to be there. And, missed field goal hurts, but I think you could do that in any other game, any game, but on the overall, they played well down the stretch, those final 7-8 games of the year, after losing to SMU. And I think that, the Pitt win and then the win at home, in the playoffs and getting in the playoffs and proving the naysayers wrong. Beating 13-1 teams, dude. What else? What else can end, including an defending national champion? Nobody had the road like that. Could have Indiana survived in that road? I don't know. There was a couple of games that Indiana could have lost easily. Iowa, Penn State this year, Ohio State. So the good teams find a way to win, I guess. But, while you're sitting there chastising Miami for only scoring 10 points against Texas A&M, no one, thought, hey, wait a minute. A&M was 13-1, and they were at home. And, but I still think that, you look back, the guy who was the prophet of the year was Nick Saban, because after 4 or 5 games of the season, he said that Miami was the best team in the nation, and it wasn't close. And he really, even though they lost to SMU and to Louisville, he always maintained that Miami was a dangerous team. So I got to give credit to him. Never a big fan of his, but he knows his stuff. But I just think what a building block. And to see Mario's face in the post-game press conference was all I needed to know that, wow, that wasn't just a loss. That was something that could have put this team on top of the heap. Right now they're in the middle, with everybody else, but it could, especially with the recruiting class. And I don't want to understate this recruiting class, because look at the last couple of recruiting classes brought them. They brought them the offensive player of the year this year. They brought them the defensive player of the year this year. So not only did they strike in the portal, but they recruited extremely well. And that's, and then I see everybody, what a Josiah Trader. Hey, listen, you are what you are, Chris Johnson. You know what? If you run up somebody's back here 30 yards, you're going to do it at SMU. Josiah Trader, if you're not going to catch key balls, you're not going to catch them in Raleigh, North Carolina. And people have to understand you got to shine in the spotlight, or you're going to just be another dude. So
and the Canes have obviously we're going to get into the portal a bit, have some replacements coming in.
A lot.
Position. But yeah, it's tough, right? Because I feel like I went to all 16 of these games. There was not a single game where the Canes weren't the better team, in my opinion, on the night, and yet they lost 3 times. I think that's something even in some of these wins where I think the next step is when you're outplaying the opponent, you've got to have it show up on the scoreboard. And the Indiana game was a series of them converting low probability plays and the Canes not making simple plays. That brought it to that point where they threw the last interception, which was another, the only way that ball gets intercepted is Carson Beck throws the jump ball and Marion continues the fly route. It's just like, if either switch, it wouldn't have been picked, at least. Might have been incomplete, but it wouldn't have been picked. And but before that, 2 4th down conversions on one of Indiana's touchdown drives, including a draw where Heatherman Say knew what the play was. They scored a touchdown from the 12-yard line anyway. Like, you can't, those little things in these high leverage games, they matter. And even Ole Miss, right? Canes pull it out with the drive at the end. That game should have been a 3-touchdown game at the half. And it wasn't. It was a 1-touchdown game. And so, those types of things, again, we can go back through. I mean, it feels like a million years ago because it was, but, the Notre Dame game, even Cartier is having to make that field. That game shouldn't have been close. The Canes kind of let them hang around. UF hung around into the 4th quarter. Those types of things, they bite you. And, if you look across the 3 losses, you never Indiana's probably the closest, because we should give credit to, hey, playing a game relatively mistake-free is a skill. We talked about that before the game. Indiana was 5th in the country in penalties. They don't do the stupid face mask on 3rd down that the Canes do. and this is not the first time with this Miami team, right? This is a chronic problem with this team. This is part of the identity of this team is they make penalties all the time and often stupid ones, right? I mean, that's just we have to own that. India doesn't do that, so that's a skill for them that we don't have. So credit to them. That was probably more of an even game. Those SMU and Blue should not have been losses. We just shot ourselves in the foot repeatedly. And we mentioned JoJo. That SMU game is probably a 30-point win if he just catches the ball that he was hitting stride on for what should have been a touchdown. Instead, like you said, he dropped it right to the defender on that case, and they intercepted through a touchdown the next play. Next thing you know, it's 7-7, and you're in a game. That was after the Canes had driven deep twice and only scored on one of them. It's just that sort of thing, whatever that is, got to be cleaned up. You got to capitalize when you're on top, and I don't think they did a great job of doing that this year. Because I agree with Nick Saban, this was the best team in the country, but lost 3 times. And, Indiana has a skill of they're always like, I said before the game, I feel like the game reinforced it. Miami's A game is better than anyone else's in the country. If they play their best, they will beat anyone. But you get a lot of their C game for periods of games, and sometimes their D game randomly on a possession, and they shoot themselves in the foot, and that averages out to whatever. Where Indiana's A game is probably equivalent to Miami's B or B plus, but you're going to get up the whole game, and that's why I lost the game. Because if you take, like you said, Blue, even the hidden ones like that face mask was stupid. The Canes got 3 and out again, but. Yeah, that's a ton of yardage that you lose in special teams, and then maybe you're not punting out of your end zone to get it blocked. All those things matter. So, yeah, it was too many mistakes, but I think that was a problem all year long. In fact, after the Ohio State game, we're all sitting here and saying, what the hell is this? We're not making penalties. And then, boy, did they show up against Ole Miss, right? Like, okay, that's the team we saw play all year. So some of that stuff was pretty obvious, like the whole year. So I don't know. We'll see. New season, new team. But like you said, Blue, I think the foundation there, I think it was very important that they got into the playoffs and took advantage of it. Like, it's not only did no one have a tougher run than the Canes, that win over A&M was the best win the Canes have had in 20 years. But then the Ohio State one was, but then the Ole Miss one was. It's just like, that was really important for this program to have that. Because if look, it was the same team whether they got put in or not, right? If they put Notre Dame in, it was still the same Miami team. But going to the Pop-Top Bowl again would have been a very deflating end to the season. And instead we have this, and this is something you can now build. The talent was there. The foundation was there because Mario's been laying it. So having some fruits of that labor, I think, was really important this year. And very nearly we're in the same spot they were in last year, which is last team out going to the Pop-Tarts Bowl. So the way it unfolded was fortunate, but I've been just looking kind of how we build off of this. Look, I know it's a running joke now. You've got to win this stupid conference because, like, the way they did it was so hard, and the reason it was hard is because they didn't win the conference. And you've got to take care of that. That's the easy way in. Everything else makes it harder. So yeah, we'll see how next year unfolds. But right now, I think it was overall obviously a successful season because of the way it ended, but they still left meat on the bone. So, next year they got to take advantage of those opportunities. You got to win the conference. That gets you in automatically, and it just smooths everything out. And it's a lot less, gives you an easier path to making a run the playoffs. Because having experienced that now, like to Blue's point, I don't know that Indiana wins those 3 games we did to get to the championship game. It's just, it was really hard to play 4 top 10 teams in a row, including one on the road, try and win a championship game. You got to stay out of those situations. And the way you do that is by taking care of business in the regular season. With that said, as we pivot to Portal, also bring in Jazz. Hey, Jazz, how's it going, man?
What's up? Sorry, guys. I'm traveling for work, so it's been a little bit of a hectic day for me here.
Yeah, I can't believe you can't live off the tens of dollars you make off of this. So
Well, you know, I tell you,
Chad prioritizing his side hustle. Come on, man. This is amazing.
I know, right? Unbelievable, right? It's not like I have to wake up super early for a presentation or anything, but here we are. No, it's all good, man. Trying to stay warm because it's almost 50 degrees now in Orlando, so it's so cold, right, DJ?
I'm sticking a finger up at you. I'm pretty sure you can guess which one.
Thanks for not showing to the camera, DJ. We don't want to get demonetized here. Appreciate you.
appreciate it, man. Yeah, man, a lot of crazy things going on in the portal, right? It's like you said in the chat, the NC State is a new SMU apparently. So a lot of things going on in the transfer portal, and I think there's some things going on in the coaching world too that we don't know about it just yet, but I'm sure it's gonna start popping off here soon. But yeah, I mean, obviously the biggest news is the Darian Mensah stuff. It looks like there's some talk out there that Duke finally settled. And it looks like he's gonna. I mean, they got their quarterback right for next year, Walker Egan. So they're not too worried about who their QB1 is. So I know that at this point, I think it's just a formality really to get this kid on campus and get him going here. So excited about him.
DJ and I talked about that in our previous. Like, there's no way they actually expect him to play quarterback for them. This is going to be money changing hands. And
yeah, that's it. Yeah, they're just going to settle out of court. They're not going to even go into their whole stupid hearing that they're supposed to have on Thursday. None of that's going to happen. You know. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, but the portal has been exciting for Miami, to say the least. Obviously, there's some more names that are going to start coming out soon, but I'm really excited as to what they have done so far, and I'm sure Blue knows some of these kids also growing up. Look, we were I know we spoke a little bit about Jarquez Carter, but we were right in it last year with him up until the very end when he chose Ohio State. You know, there's some other guys like this kid Jonathan Klein. Doesn't sound like too much of a big deal, but we were right in it. You know, we were recruiting him a couple years ago. Also, he ended up somewhere else. Then he's at ETSU. So there's, he's someone that's going to come in and provide some depth because we're going to need it at the offensive line. So many guys moving around. Tommy Kinsler gone, Bell to the pros, CC to the pros, and S. Cooper turning pro. I think the only guys we have remaining are Pancake McCoy, I believe, and Ryan Rodriguez, right? Like Frank Avila ended up in Buffalo. So, obviously we got Jamal Merriweather out of Georgia, who's a guy that I think is kind of going to be kind of a plug and play kid here on top of the development of some guys like Max Buchanan and some other, and obviously Jackson Cantwell coming in. So
yeah, he's kind of I think you just kind of nailed our starting. I think our starting will be.
Well, and SJ will be the center.
Who's that?
SJ Fala.
Yeah, you know what? I think that he might have the inside track, but I don't know if he's going to be big enough to sustain, man. I think I like if Ryan Rodriguez can stay healthy, I think you start him at center. But Max Buchanan is another kid that can play center or guard, and he's got a little bit of a mean streak. I fully expect Max Buchanan to be in the running for at least a starting position, if not a rotational guy, kind of like what a Matthew McCoy was last year with Pancake at left guard. I think you got some things there. Obviously, bringing in Merriweather, you're going to bring in some other dudes as well, and some of these kids.
That's what I have it right now. I'd have Cantwell starting day one. I think he's that good and he's that physically ready.
I agree,
definitely.
And then McCoy, Rodriguez at center. Sampson, and then Merriweather. That's my. If I did starting five, obviously there's still movement to happen. Some kids will emerge too, but that's a five. I'm comfortable starting in the opener.
Yep.
At Stanford,
well, here's the thing, right?
PM or whatever the hell he's going to be.
You can afford. This is what I'll say, right? I know we're talking transfer portal, but it actually plays into transfer portals. You can afford them to have. I don't want to say deficiencies, but the reason where I'm trying to get at is Mensah's really mobile, right? He's the kind of guy that he's going to move around the pocket a lot anyways. He doesn't like to always be in the pocket. He doesn't use his legs to run. He uses his legs to pass. And then when he has to, he'll go ahead and take off. But I think that having a guy like Mensah in the lineup, you can afford to be able to rotate some guys, develop some guys. You got those first 4 games are actually really good because you can kind of set up your lineup moving forward. Say, all right, this is my group of O line that's going to work. This is my group of linebackers, so on and so forth. So, I know you guys were talking about the schedule earlier, how it kind of the disrespect that the NCAA continues to show us by giving us Friday and Thursday night games in Miami. Those assholes, those idiots that don't realize the traffic and that Miami doesn't care about football until the national championship game. Clearly, it sucks. But all those things aside, those first 4 games before you get into Clemson and Florida State and all that, is a really good opportunity to be able to, cut your teeth a little bit and kind of work on those combinations of the offensive line that you want and see what really, really works the best. And then speaking of transfer portal, considering that you get back your entire running back stable, you get back most of your wide receivers aside from JoJo, maybe some of them Chance and some of those guys, but you really get back your core of those wide receivers and you bring in the studs that you're bringing in. I think you got an opportunity there for this offense to be really, really, and this is not a knock on this offense, but way better than this year's offense. I'm excited about it. So there's a lot of moving parts. It's fun.
Well, it's different, right? And I think one of the things that we've seen out of Dawson over his time here is he'll adapt to the talent that's there. This offense we were in last year was nothing like what you're running with Cam Ward, right?
Yep.
But I think where the next year's offense won't be as good is that whole ball control. I think we're weaker in run blocking up front, at least initially.
They might score faster.
Yeah, and we have more explosiveness, right? Because it was really Malachi was the only explosive player on the offense, right?
Right.
So, if you get Lyle back healthy, he has that dimension of running back. Cooper Barcade I gotta learn how to pronounce this kid's name because he's gonna be our wide receiver 1, but he's a playmaking receiver. So you put someone like that can make plays, that can stretch the field and make plays underneath next to Malachi. It's just gonna open up a lot more. You're gonna get a lot more explosive play. Like Malachi was actually held back a little bit, believe it or not, because he was the only home run threat on the team. Yeah. You start getting some of these other kids out there. You get Josh Morris second year. You picked up a couple of high-level players out of the portal. I think will be more explosive, but the ability to just be like, there's 6 minutes left in the game, we're going to hand it off and run for 6 minutes, the game's going to be over. You're not going to do that. And we couldn't do that.
I think later on in the year, I think you can. You can if you want to, but I think they're not going to do it as much. I think they can.
I don't think so, because I think that the reason I say only you can do that is I think what we lost was another level of this group played together a lot, developed together a lot. Like this was year 2 of essentially this line, right? Like there wasn't anyone really new this year. It took a lot to get to they couldn't do this 2 years ago. Like Cam Ward showed up and elevated the whole program. The program was not ready to win 10 games. Cam Ward won 10 games. And this year's team was way better with the worst quarterback just because like they gelled together, they've grown together. That takes some time. We were not shoving everyone around 2 years ago the way we were this year with the same players. And you look at the talent loss, like these are guys that had grown together and knew how to play together. I think the O-line will be great. I don't have a question about it. I just think this year's was so on another level in terms of just if we need to push you back at the optimal moment, we're going to do it. And you can't do anything about it. And I think that's what caught actually our play. In a way, we were set up better to play some of these playoff teams than like SMU and Louisville, who like those teams show up like no one pushes us around. We're going to line up and play ball with you, and then they start getting pushed back. I'm like, what to believe? This doesn't happen to us.
Right.
Even in losing to Indiana, their center coming off the field was like that. Look at it on tape. That was nothing like I've ever experienced. His arm is like completely jacked up, and it's just like. I think he's like, we won, but man, it's just.
I think you'll see them win.
That level is a multi-year process. But again, you don't have to lose to SMU and Louisville. Like you can have a much easier path to getting things done than what they did this year.
Well, you'll be able to play with more athleticism, more speed, and so the scheme will be a little bit different, like you said.
Yeah,
you don't have to do those things.
He totally adapts. He does what makes sense for personally.
And that's what makes him a good offensive coordinator. Not necessarily his play calling.
And year 4, and it's been 3. He just adapting to talent 3 years in a row. So it's been.
I am
so think
interested
they'll
to
be more
see how the
explosive.
running back room kind of shapes out. Like, I understand Mark Fletcher, obviously starter and stuff like that, but you have 6 very talented guys in the running back room.
Everybody's
and-
back. Everybody's
Yeah,
back.
everybody's back, and I'm wondering how the distribution of the carries will go and how that will play out over the course of the season. I think it'll be a positive. Don't get me wrong. I'm just curious. A lot of mouths to feed, and it's only so many touches.
I'll tell you what, right now, there's no doubt about it. Baby Derrick Henry is obviously RB1. I don't think there's a question of him being able to separate from
yeah.
defenders at this point. Now, you saw it. You saw it in the playoffs. You saw him run people over and go and get away from them as well, right? Obviously, that 57-yarder, it was up to 21, 22 miles an hour. The kid's starting to develop. He got that speed too. He is the bell cow. He is going to be RB1, no doubt about it. Now, I know I've said this a lot, and he's kind of disappointed, but if Jordan Lyle gets healthy, again, he is probably our most talented back per se, as far as all around game, right? Like, he's got a little bit of the power, he's got a little bit of the speed. The only thing he doesn't have that guys like Fletcher and Marty Brown have, and even Pringle to a certain degree, is his vision, his ability to see the hole and get to it quicker. And I think because he's relying a lot on his athleticism, he wants to go side to side instead of north and south. So those are things that he's just gonna have to clean up. Plus, he wasn't healthy all year, so it's I'm excited. It's a good problem to have. Again, a good problem to have in the fact that we have all those guys. And at receiver, Vish, you mentioned it. And Blue, you saw some of these kids playing high school, like Jacobs and and obviously some of the kids that we have coming back. The guy I wouldn't put it behind them to have a solid year is Dalen Upshaw. Also, he's kind of like a kind of a mirror image of what Malachi Tony does. If you put them next to each other, they almost look exactly alike, just different numbers. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, I mean, and then the tight ends, if we can have a healthy tight end and less Alex Bauman, I'll be happy.
Okay, so hold on. So first of all, I think we're light at the tight end position pretty significantly.
I think so too.
There, but also, look, I'm a little uncomfortable with the way Bauman's being scapegoated as if he lost the championship game by himself. We made so many stupid plays in that game. And I don't know what the hell he was doing on that pump block. I don't think anyone does, but he's not the one. I mean, we gave up a 4th down, 12-yard touchdown run on 4th and 4 when the defensive coordinator said we knew what the play was. Like, we face masked on 3rd and 20 and gave them a first down. Their first drive, we made pass. We jumped off sides on 3rd down and gave them a free play, and then they got a touchdown on their first touchdown. We threw that interception at the end. There were mistake after mistake after mistake that we made in that game. So he also made a huge. People don't remember this when they were after they got that touchdown to go up 24-14. We made the holding on the kickoff, and it was like 3rd and 15 from our 8 or whatever it was. Bauman's the one who made the leaping catch up the seam right before Malachi then caught the ball and ran and then scored on the next play.
Yeah, it's a good catch. Listen, I'm not blaming the loss on him.
I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying, like, everyone is like, this guy's the devil. I'm like, he did a
no, but he did suck
so
at
the rest.
He did suck at run blocking for the most part. He was not a very good blocker, period. He obviously screwed up on that punt. He doesn't catch contested catches, even if it's to save his life. He can't catch a contested pass. Yeah, he caught that nice 3rd and 15 or 3rd and whatever it was, 3rd and long for the first down, which is nice, right? Good. That's a good play. But he did struggle a lot in the run game. He struggled a lot in the run game.
So how do you? But here's what I'll say to that.
Lofton was a much better, obviously, run blocker than he was.
So what? So how do you see this shaking out then? Because we don't have our tight end depth chart is pretty bare.
I disagree. I think that you have. Well, it is. It is if you are not healthy, right? And that's the problem, right? So Elijah Lofton, obviously tight end number 1. He hasn't been healthy all year. Once he shows up that he gets healthy, boom, he gets dinged up again. So if he can stay healthy, then obviously you've got a solid tight end 1. You saw Luka Gilbert get a lot of playing time, especially when Lofton went down. And as a run blocker, Gilbert is obviously a much better run blocker than some of the other guys we have, and he was only a freshman, so his development can only get better if you ask me. Whether it's Coach Woodio or if it's Coach Stephen Fields or whoever it is that you bring in to coach those tight ends, I think that you've got a great opportunity to be able to get one of those two guys or both of those guys in the field, and they're both going to be productive. The guys coming in, Izzy Briggs and Gavin Muller, are obviously young kids. They're freshmen. But again, they can come in and they're obviously going to have to play potentially. So, yeah, are you relying on young guys? Yes. So depth-wise, you don't have 4 seniors. But you got 4 very good tight ends.
Well, Lofton is
what
not
you're
a
looking
traditional tight end, though. So, like, I mean,
no,
I'm
but
saying
that's the
tight end
position he's
one.
going to play. Yeah, he's tight end 1. That's the
He's
position
not
he's
a
going to play.
position. He's never played that position, actually. Like, I mean, that's a new position for him.
Yeah,
There's
but
a
he
reason
plays
we
on the
always
line
had
a lot.
Bauman or McCormick or someone. He doesn't really play. He's more.
He does
off
though,
of-
because he's in run passing situations. He's your tight end or even your H-back, whatever it is. He's still out there.
Yeah, H-back and tight end are very different positions.
Run blocking.
We don't really have that
I
end
don't-
of the line tight end.
Maybe you've seen the tape. Maybe you've seen more tape than I have.
Maybe it's Luka Gilbert, but again, that was a position we probably need one more. To be honest,
Your traditional fucking excuse my language. Your traditional tight end, your traditional Alex Ballman like tight end. Yeah, maybe more Luka Gilbert, but Elijah Lofton is still your tight end. He's going to line up wide. A lot of those traditional tight ends line up wide. Sometimes line up in the backfield. Sometimes they do a lot of different things. But when it comes to run blocking, they're right there on the line.
Even when we had
pushing guys
Roy,
around.
doing some of that stuff, like you said, kind of flanking him out. He was kind of the third wide receiver or whatever.
Yeah.
He still had Cam McCormick's geriatric ass out there. Like we are one short, in my opinion.
And he was a hell of a blocker.
Yeah, but he's
Yeah.
a guy who could stick on the end of the line and play that position. I feel like
Yeah, I mean, right now it's probably Luka Gilbert, right? Luka Gilbert's probably that guy. And I feel comfortable with that kid. That kid's 6'6", 6'7", 265 pounds right now.
So do you put Luka Gilbert over Elijah Lofton as your tight end 1?
As your traditional tight, no. Elijah Lofton is my tight end 1, bottom line. But if you're talking about a Cam McCormick type, which is what Vicious is saying, if you got that other guy that when you can flank out Lofton or you can put him in the backfield or whatever, it's Luka Gilbert, 100%.
I don't know if I feel comfortable with Elijah Lofton as your traditional tight end 1 because I don't think he's that type of player. He could be, but right now.
But what does a traditional tight end 1 do that you're not comfortable Elijah Lofton doing? Because he's a great blocker. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run great routes. I'm not sure what a traditional tight end 1 can do that Elijah Lofton can't. Let's put it that way.
Consistently catching the ball not out of the backfield, but as a red zone threat type of player.
Okay, but
I don't think he's there yet in that to be consistent enough in that role. Can he get there? Yes. Is he there right now?
But is it that he's not consistent, or is it that the offense is not based around getting the ball to the tight end in the red zone?
Both.
I don't know. I'm going to disagree with you on that. I think Elijah Lofton is very ready to be a red zone threat.
Well, the problem is
we've seen it. We've seen it before. It's just a matter of them getting the ball to him enough and him being healthy enough to be on the field.
And a lot of times, and this isn't a knock on him, a lot of times they put him out there in the red zone and everybody and their dog knows it's going to Elijah Lofton because he doesn't see any other snaps over the course of the game. And that's not on him. It's just a combination of him still not developing enough into that skill and the offense not doing him any favors by putting him out there in that way.
See, that's where I disagree with you, because if he's a flex tight end, that's what he does. He goes out and he catches passes. And that's what we're talking about, Elijah Lofton being a flex tight end, not your traditional guy that's going to sit on the line the whole time or, be this monster. And he, by the way, he does that just as good as any other tight end. If not, he's your extra offensive lineman. So I don't know. I kind of disagree with that.
He's your extra offensive lineman. When did that happen?
I'm saying that he could be that extra blocker when you're running.
I mean, that's why I have some concerns. He's never shown that ability. He's always been in the backfield or off the ball or next to.
But what are you serious? Really? You guys, we're obviously not
Yes,
watching the same
what-
game.
When has he been like lined up next to the tackle as the only tight end and been the end line guy?
Well, I don't.
How often does that happen?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't sit back and watch the all 22 or watch tape all the time.
No, but he's always out there with another tight end.
Yeah.
He played so much H-back this year. I'm not
Yeah,
saying
he's
not
never
super
strictly
talented.
like a
I'm saying
blocker.
it is a new position if you're going to.
What does the H back do? What does the H back in there primarily to do? Block, right?
I mean,
So-
it's like saying you can line up a tackle at tight end and like throw it.
We
in
do.
It's just
We
an
do.
additional
SJ.
sense of-
We do line up an offensive
he's a
lineman
front.
at H back. SJ, right? It's the same thing. I don't know. I think you guys are downplaying. I think you guys are downplaying how good Elijah Lofton is, or not because you didn't
Well, I
see
don't
him a
think
lot, or
we're-
because the offense didn't revolve around a tight end. But I think that
No,
he's a
I
damn
just don't
good tight
think he's
end.
played. I just again when we talk about depth and question marks, you're penciling him into a position he has not played here. in
Can
2
he get there?
years.
Yes. Has he played there consistently?
And
So-
so that's why when I say
So
I
in the
think we're
starting
light,
lineup,
that's what I'm-
is he not going to be tight end Elijah Lofton, or what is he going to be? What's his role? What's his position then?
I think we listed him as tight end, but he was always playing with Bauman on the field and like lined up in the backfield and off the line.
Yeah.
He was never the guy. that
Bauman
standing
was your
in the middle.
traditional TE1.
Yeah,
Right, but what does that mean? What is a traditional TD1? TE1. What is a traditional TD1? What
Okay.
what? Yeah, what does he do? What does Alex put it this way? What does Alex Bauman do better than Elijah Lofton? Absolutely nothing. But he's tight end one, and Elijah Lofton isn't. By the way, he was
I
never
mean-
tight end one. Elijah Lofton was always tight end one. Alex
No.
Bauman just happened to play on the line as a traditional tight end, like you guys want to say.
dude. What are
But
you
tight end
talking
one is
about? There
Elijah
were entire
Lofton.
games where fucking we had these whole shows about how Lofton only played 6 snaps.
Yeah, 'cause he was hurt. He was hurt.
No,
What are we
no,
talking
no,
about?
no.
No, you want to put money on it? You guys want to put money on it that he was hurt?
Yeah.
Because
Well-
I'll put money on it.
I'll put money on it, sir, but I'll also put money on the fact that they only used them for 6 steps. 'cause they
Okay.
didn't know
All
how to
right.
use them
All right.
properly.
All right. All right. All right. We're gonna put money in a PayPal account and we'll see.
All right.
Apparently, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
I'll make it easier right
Yeah.
now.
Well,
Look at the
it's
snap count.
ganging
I'll
up
look at the
against you
snap
guys.
counts, and we'll break it down from
Everyone's
there.
ganging up
Wow,
against
this is-
you.
Hey, you can gang up on me if you want. It doesn't matter. When someone's right, they're right. It doesn't matter how many people gang up on them.
Okay, good
Yeah.
thing you're wrong.
No, man. Don't come with that cocky New England Patriot shit on me, buddy. It's not gonna work.
Welcome to New England. You,
No,
you,
New
you,
England.
you never met a New Englander then.
No, I never met a New England fan I didn't want to punch in the mouth. So
Be
But you're
careful,
Red Sox
Jeff.
fan
You
too,
know
so-
what their tight ends up there do.
Yeah, they are.
yeah,
Why are you messing with me of all people on tight ends?
because you're messing with me when I'm telling you Elijah Lofton is the best damn tight end on the team. He's not a wide receiver. He's not a running back. Is he very versatile? Yes, he is a tight end. He is tight end one for the Miami Hurricanes, whether you like it or not. He's tight end one for the Miami Hurricanes
If he was
because he
tight
is
end
a
one,
tight end.
if
He
was
can
tight
block
end
on the
one,
line. He can
Hurricanes-
block as an H-back. He can line up wide as a flex, as an extra receiver. He can do it all. He has to stay healthy in order to do it consistently. But that is the reason why he didn't do it consistently, because he was hurt the whole year. I
So is
promise
why
you that he
they played
was.
6 snaps as a decoy.
It's
only
the
for
weather in that
miracles?
hotel room, man.
What happens? What happens when you're not healthy? Do you play the whole game, or do you get limited snaps to make sure that you can stay fresh and that you don't get hurt? Which one is it?
I guess you play limited snaps.
All right.
I mean, so he was
All right.
he was not healthy for the whole season.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
All right.
And sometimes you play through injuries, right? Sometimes you play through stuff. You know?
Dude, what do you
50
think?
degrees in that hotel.
I mean, I'm good, man. I feel great. I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm happy. I'm loving life, man. I don't know about you, Pimp Down, but I'm good. I'm just right. And the problem is that you guys are wrong. And that's a
Do you
problem
want to
for you
weigh in
guys.
on this? You want to weigh in on
It's
this?
that 50 degrees in that freaking Motel 6 you're in, man. Jesus Christ.
Nah, brother. I don't stay at Motel 6.
I don't think he's in a Motel 6.
I don't do that,
I
man.
recognize
Drew, do you
that
wanna- do you
lamp
wanna-
right there from a Motel 6.
Nah, that I definitely don't do. There's two
so you
things I
wanna
do
weigh in
right,
on
and
this before we-
get tight ends right and stay at good hotels.
You saying that Lofton was the starting like tight end all year, that's just factually wrong. Anyway, Blue, you want to weigh in on this?
Well, I'm a big hey, you know,
Obviously, if he's not playing or if he's injured, he's not going to start. Jesus Christ, you guys. What are we doing here? What are we really doing here? Are we talking about tight ends the rest of the damn game? The rest of the damn show?
Look at Danny. He likes that.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
yeah,
want to weigh in
unbelievable.
on this discussion before we move on?
No, he's you know the way I feel about him. I think he's great. I don't think he's he's not gonna, I don't think he likes to block that much. He likes to be involved in everything, but he's an H-back tight end / tight end. He does things that he runs the ball from the backfield. He does, not a lot of tight ends are going to go out of the freaking Wildcat formation. A lot of tight ends aren't going to do the things that he does. He's just a very versatile player.
So he
can
doesn't
do it.
always line up
Oh,
traditionally.
hold on a second. As a matter of fact, hold on a second. Who else did that is now tight end 1 for the Indianapolis Colts? Ran Wildcat, ran H-back, did all that, but they called him tight end 1. Did Tyler Warren not do those things? But he's tight end 1, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's go. Continue further. While I further prove my point to you guys. Bunch of
You're just
knuckleheads.
flatly wrong.
I'm definitely not wrong. I'm definitely not wrong.
Are you gonna make me pull up all of Cam's freaking game notes? We list the starters and Lofton's not on there.
If he's not a starter, oh my God, Jesus Christ! With the whole pull up Cam in the roster. Okay, the roster counts. You know who started in the national championship game, but wasn't listed as a starter? Ahmad Moten. It was David Blay, but he started. So does that mean that David Blay is not a starter? So based off of the paper that Cam gives you, come on, what are we talking about here?
But was he the de facto starter? No.
Who? Elijah Lofton is a de facto starter. He's tight end 1.
Our starting lineup for the entire season was Daniels when everyone was healthy. Obviously, Daniels got injured. We started JoJo and crap, but it was Daniels, Marion, Malachi, Bauman, Fletcher as our skill players, as our 5 skill players. Beck is quarterback, and then the 5 linemen. That was our starting line. Like, I don't know,
because Lofton was injured. What are we talking about here? Holy shit! Get over it.
12 games.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
For 16 games.
He was injured for 16 games. He just played through it. He played through injury.
He was injured.
I have proof. Okay. All right. I'm done. I'm done. You guys are right. You guys are right. You guys are right. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. Go ahead. Continue. Move forward.
I mean, if he played through it, it probably.
Okay. No, he did it. No, he didn't. He sucks. He's a piece of shit. Go. Move on.
Continue. I mean, 6 months with an injury. That's
Alex Bauman, number 1, first round draft pick. Let's go.
So, just to summarize, you said he did stuff that we're like, no, he didn't. Not that Gigo's very clear. Not that he can't do it, but he hasn't shown it yet, which is why I said I think we need more depth. And then when we said, well, actually, that's not. Then you said, well, that was because he was injured. Did he do it or not? Like, yeah.
Did he do what? Did he do what?
Did he start as the tight end 1? No. And you said, well, that was because he was injured.
And did he also produce consistently? No, because he was injured. So therefore,
that's fine. If injuries is the reason, that's fine. But we weren't debating whether or not he was injured. You were saying he did things. I'm like, I didn't see that.
No.
That's where this thing went off the rails.
Okay, he did. Whatever. I'm not gonna continue. He did everything that I said that he did, which is block on the line, block as an H-back, flex out, do the Wildcat, all that stuff he did. And he's a tight end. Whether he started on paper all the games or not, he's still your tight end. He's your best tight end. He's still your tight end 1. Just because Alex Bauman started on the formation and the scheme that they ran does not mean that he's tight end 1. He's not tight end 1. Alex Bauman is not and was not tight end 1. On paper, he might have been tight end 1, but he's not tight end 1. Get over it. Move on. That's it. I'm done with this conversation. Jesus Christ.
So Elijah Lofton did not do all the things consistently last year. He can do it, but he did not show it consistently through all 17 games of the season.
You're right, Danny. You're right. Superstar, number 1. There you go. Adam Schefter all the time. Let's go. Keep moving forward. You're right. You're right. I'm going to continue having this conversation with people that don't get it.
There's nothing to get.
Clearly, I see that.
I mean, I've lost track of where you're arguing at this point. So
It's
anyway,
okay. That's what happens when you guys are wrong. So go ahead, continue, move forward. Get over it already. He's tied in 1.
Anyway, he was not last year. Here is the schedule. Moving on. Thoughts?
I don't like the opener.
Well, on paper, that schedule, I don't know about on paper, but because you guys like to go with on paper apparently. So on paper, yeah, the schedule looks good.
Don't love the opener at Stanford just because of the time, but I do love that it's at Stanford and not like a Notre Dame or a game that we play, and it apparently doesn't matter at the end. So I like that it's a little bit easier to start off this time around.
So I think the three Friday games and a Thursday game is criminal. I don't know what the bleep they're doing. Putting your marquee team on weeknights instead of Saturdays for a third of the games doesn't make a lot of sense. I also think people are making a mistake saying, look, you're playing 2 ACC road games out of your first 3. I do expect the Canes to be able to win those, but I do think people are making a mistake thinking, especially Wake Forest is just a free square. If you go in there and play like you did against SMU, they're kind of on the same. Would they win 9 games last year? Like they're not.
Yeah,
I feel like those are the types of games where I was like, yeah,
they ranked at one point.
Crap.
Yeah, they
They beat the living crap out of Mississippi State in the bowl game. Like they're not a free win. But the Canes should win these games, right? But I think people are making, especially with Wake, making a mistake thinking it's just going to be like, oh, we'll walk through September and then shift to Clemson. Like that's a weird environment. It's going to be a Friday night, which we know weird shit happens. I'm not entirely enthralled with the way that that first 2 ACC games are on the road like that. Actually, our first 3 are. It's Clemson too. So starting with 3 ACC road games, and when we opened the show, one of the things I said was I don't know that last year's team will be as good as this year's overall, but they can make their life a lot easier by winning the conference and not having to run the gauntlet this team almost ran through. Because if you win your conference, you get easier playoff games. You're not having to win 4 top 10 games, or having to win like 2, which is a much easier task than what they had to do this year. But they're set. This schedule sets them up to fail in the ACC. Your first 3 games are on the road, and then your 4th one is FSU.
Palm.
Do I expect the Canes, a team of the Canes caliber, to handle that type of stuff? Yes, but could have been a little gentler there. I mean, part of that's Notre Dame screwed us by wanting to play in November, so we had an open ACC spot to open the season. For those that aren't aware, everyone else's games were full, so it's either going to be North Carolina, Florida State, or Stanford to open it, because everyone else had a game already that's on our ACC schedule. So I don't know. I don't like the Friday games, and I think the schedule's a lot more difficult than people are giving it credit for. Again, if the Canes want to get where we think they're going to get next year, which is winning 1 more game than they did this year, and winning that last game, they should be able to navigate this. But I think a lot of people are going to be like, no. These are the reason that you lose these games is like at North Carolina is a tricky game right before going to Notre Dame. At Clemson's never easy. Like this is not nearly as easy. I've seen a lot of our fans be like, "Woo, this is cake." I'm like, this is not cake.
I don't think it's cake. I think that the second the middle part, like the middle 4 or 5 games, that's a tough little stretch going Clemson, FSU.
Yeah.
Pitt. I mean, look, I don't think North Carolina's any good. But still, right? It's an away game at North Carolina. We never do good there, regardless of how good or bad they are. Notre Dame is obviously the best team we play, and they're probably going to be really good. But aside from that, I mean, Wake Forest, they lose Damon Claiborne, they lose a lot of these guys. So I don't expect, like you said, I don't expect Miami to lose that game. Obviously, I think they're gonna go right through those first 4 games, and then Clemson loses a lot of pieces. This is the first time that this is the first year that they have such a large portal class as well. I think they signed like 8 or 9 guys in the portal, including Chris Johnson, who could probably be tied in.
If he cuts, I'm going to be very upset.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy there to have Chris Johnson there, but I don't know who their quarterback is. I know Klubnik is gone. I mean they'll probably develop a guy that came in, highly rated guy. So you're gonna have a freshman quarterback there. So that might be a game where you can take advantage of that. Obviously, with our defense, FSU, will they be improved? I don't know because I don't even know who their quarterback is either at this point, but.
I thought it was. Didn't they get Calandra or something? The guy from. I think that's the guy from UNLV, right?
Nebraska.
Oh, they
did.
did.
No, the UNLV guy went to Nebraska.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's Nebraska.
Calandria. So
Who
who the hell went over there?
FSU get? Who did
Didn't they get
FSU
some small school guys? Some guy from
I'm
a
looking
small
at
school?
it right now. Hold on.
Tabla,
I don't know, man. So I don't expect FSU to be very good. They lost a bunch of guys in the portal. I don't think they're going to be very good either. Pitt always,
Malachi
they're always-
Marshall for Florida State. Does that ring a bell?
Who?
Or Malachi Marshall?
No, he
Is that a
wasn't
real
the guy
person?
that got it.
No.
Well, they
Ashton
did,
Daniels.
Did they get Ashton Daniels?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They have
Okay.
him on the roster as well.
There you go. There you go. I think that's their guy.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So who was that? He was at Stanford last year, right? He's a starter at Stanford last year.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. We'll see there. Pitt has they get back Heinschel, but did I say that right? Heinschel?
Yeah.
Heinschel.
Yeah.
And Reed comes back.
Reed is coming back.
Yeah.
Okay, so they'll have a solid little team. They do lose a lot on defense. Raheem Biles ended up in Texas. They lost that Egwu or whatever his name was, the kid that went over to the Notre Dame from the transfer portal. So their defense might not be as good as it was last year. And Miami put a hurting on them last year. So I mean, on paper, it looks a little bit easier. I can see why the fans are like, "Oh, it's easy," but to be honest with you, man, you don't know until you play these games. A lot of these teams develop, and somebody, you get some rising superstar that all of a sudden balls out. So you don't know. But the Notre Dame game is obviously the biggest one. But if you're like 11-1 and you should be able to get into that ACC championship game.
Yeah, I don't actually agree that I think the Notre Dame game one took on more importance this year because we blew the conference.
Yeah.
If we had lost that and beat Louisville, we would have been in Charlotte, blown out Duke or Virginia or whoever, and not even had any of the stress the last month of the season. So, that became really important because they were battling us for the last playoff spot, and we blew the conference. We should have had an auto bid and not even been sweating anything. So I mean, at that point, we're going to know because we're going to have played so many conference games. We'll know if we've blown it or not. We're going to played 6 conference games before we get to that. We're still waiting for the tiebreaker rules. So better just go 9-0.
Oh, they haven't mentioned that? They haven't talked about the tiebreaker?
Well, they said they're going to change them. That's
Right.
what they are. But also next year is a transition year. So eventually, because the math doesn't work, idiots, there's going to be 16 of the 17 teams will play 9 games and one they'll play 8.
Oh, yeah.
But next year, since it's a transition year, I think 5 or 6 of the teams are only playing 8 games. So I don't know how they're even. Is some team going to go? One team's 6-2 and another one's 7-2, and the 7-2 team has a higher winning percentage. Should they go?
Yeah, that
the other team
sucks.
beat them? I don't know. They haven't really talked about that. They got to figure out a way to make that whole on that. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. But that is that. So we're gonna see what that is. But I mean, be best advised to just win all 9 conference games.
Look, if you stack it up, I mean, I'm still gonna stay. I'm gonna do my best Vish impersonation and say that I think that we're gonna kick everybody's ass, right? Like I think that we could go 12-0. I really do think we can go 12-0. I think that we're just going to be too stacked on both sides of the football again. I know it's a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit different look. You don't have Mezzi and you don't have Bain, but we saw development of guys like Marquise Lightfoot. We're bringing in Damon Wilson, who's obviously a stud. We've got guys like Hayden Lowe is coming
You
back.
got a bunch of guys. You got Scott coming back. And you
I
got
mean, everybody, right? Moten's coming back.
Moten, Scott. Yeah, they got plenty.
What's that kid from Penn State? Nobody talks about him. The Chukwara guy.
Yeah,
he's another big guy.
They're fine.
I think it's going to be really nice to see. They're putting a lot of trust in the linebackers they have because Torrey's coming back because they lost Popo. So they're putting a lot of, I think they like Campbell a lot. They like Kellen Wiley a lot. But you lose Campbell, you look Basaint, but
they'll get another guy or two.
I think they will. But I think they like Marceline a lot too, Blue. I think he's developed really well.
I saw grow a little bit more. Gotta grow a little bit more.
He's just short, right? He's kind of short, but he's pretty stocky.
And you know what? The good thing about him is he's great in pass coverage too.
And that's what they need.
Always has been.
Nice.
But I'll tell you what, Mohamed Toure coming back is huge. That dude stays. I told you, he led the team in tackles. I thought I was more impressed with his play every damn game.
He's the Cam McCormick of the Hurricanes this year.
Yeah, but he plays.
No, he's a little bit better. A little bit better
every year.
Yeah, he's a little bit better. The kid that I was really impressed by, guys, is just seeing him in drills, right? Obviously, no pads on, no nothing. 2 kids, actually. Ashari Charles, very impressed by his size.
Game.
I saw him, and I thought that he was a wide receiver. He was doing it looked like he was doing wide receiver drills because he was standing next to Tyron Evans. And by the way, Tyron Evans is all of 6'4", 6'5". That kid is huge.
Who was the other guy besides Ashari Charles, is it?
Tyron Evans.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, both of those kids, they look the part, man. They're big kids already. So is Milan Paris. I mean, that kid is huge as well. And that's what we needed a little bit in that wide receiver room was that size. Aside from Josh Moore, I don't think anybody else was that big. So
mark my words, Samari and Wingo will start.
Oh, he's the best one out of all of them for sure.
By far. I'm telling you, he's a beast.
But I would be surprised if all of them and Spafford and all of them get an opportunity, man. It's that wide receiver room is loaded.
I'm hoping Upshaw can stay healthy too.
Oh, I love him. Yeah, if he does.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of that is loaded, and we haven't added.
I can't wait to the spring game. It'll be so much fun.
Thank God. Well, you know what's funny though, Vish and DJ, what we didn't have, and we talked about this a little earlier, right? We had Malachi Tony, who obviously could do it all. But what we didn't have, which we thought we would get with a guy like Keelan Marion, was guys that could take the top off the defense, right? That just go. And now you bring in guys like Jacobs and Vaughn, and even Barcade, whatever the hell his name is. That's what those guys do.
Open, that guy.
He gets open, and then Vaughn and Jacobs, those guys can take you deep, and they can beat guys man to man straight up on a 9 route or a go route.
That's only going to give Malachi more of a license to kill everybody.
I mean, Barcade averaged over 15 yards a catch last year. He was definitely stretching the field out. So.
It's going to be. I think this offense is going to be much more fun to watch. I think, although I gotta say that bully ball was pretty exciting to see this year, just because we just dominated so well. But I think you're gonna see an exciting little offense again with so many weapons that we have.
I loved watching this year's offense, but visually, I loved watching the Cam Ward offense. I loved it.
Now pair with a good defense, and I think
he made everything. I think Mensa had the ability to do a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
The other thing, just back to defense, I think. Well, I agree. First of all, like if you're talking about Adarius Hayes, bro, Google,
dude.
But also,
that's rough.
Without going further than that, I'm just gonna say Google. But also, we were DJ and I were actually talking about this yesterday with our safeties. Thornton is a big hitting guy, and so he can definitely in pass situations come down in the box a little bit and be another linebacker, because we still have Poyser and Bryce behind him. So you can do a lot of interesting with Heatherman's gonna love, but you can do a lot of interesting things with him because you have your 2 more traditional safeties and Thornton can definitely play traditional safety. We can also like play down the box a little bit too. So
Yeah.
it helps a little bit with that linebacker depth. They have a safety that you can, it's 3rd and 8 or whatever. You can bring him down the box a little bit and play the pass and also still be strong against the run. So I think he's going to be a huge. He was a huge get out of Boston College there.
And then the development of Bobby Pruitt, Bobby Pruitt, has been huge for us also because he can do a little bit of both, right? Linebacker and that kind of like that star role. So I think he's going to have a big season this year as well for Miami. I like the versatility of this offense, of this defense also, especially that you bring back OJ and Damari Brown and Xavier Lucas. You brought back all your core of your cornerbacks, and you bring in some really talented guys there too. In the safety room, JJ Dunnigan, and some of the other guys. Obviously, I'm forgetting a bunch of names, but there's so much talent. This is one of the best, I think, classes talent-wise, really, like guys that are ready to play that Miami has had in quite some time. Because you've noticed that in some of the other classes, they've had some guys that are dudes, but they've taken some time to develop. And that 2023 class was kind of like that, right? Like you saw some guys, but those guys took a little bit to develop. Like Hayden Lowe would have been ready to play had he not gotten hurt. He probably would have been in the rotation. That's how nasty that kid is. Now you get to see him for real. Marquise Lightfoot is one of those guys that had to develop, and look at him now. I think that some of the guys that you brought in now, like Charles, Lafayette, some of those guys already have that build where they can come in, do some damage. So I'm excited to see what they got to do, what they're going to do.
Absolutely. And the thing about Boston College players, just from watching the games up here too, is while they may not be the best put together program, they can produce defensive players. I mean, I remember watching Mark Herzlich and Luke Kuechly from back in the day, and they've always managed to put out solid defensive players, linebackers, safeties, linebackers in particular. But, Thornton was one of the bright spots with an extremely difficult season for the Eagles. So I'm really happy to see him go to a program where I think he will more than succeed. I think he'll be one of the best defensive players in the ACC.
They always got one or two monsters that they get up there somehow.
Yeah.
And a big-time O-lineman too, right?
Yeah, and it's really weird because they suck everywhere else, but they always get like 3 or 4 guys that are like, hey, you're not bad. Too bad.
Wasn't that quarterback the kid that went from Alabama over there that he was supposed to be really good?
Oh, Dylan Lonergan?
Yeah, Lonergan. Yeah. He stunk it up, huh?
Yeah, he wasn't good.
That's interesting. Blue, I got to ask you a question from a recruiting standpoint. How do you feel about this kid, Davin Davison, the quarterback that Miami's on?
From Mooney. Very good. Yeah. No, he's really good. Right now, Moody's under investigation.
He's really good, but they're under investigation for
Yeah.
some shady stuff.
6'5", 6'6" kid, throws very well. Probably, one of the best kids coming up.
Nice.
Yeah. Where they got him, I don't know. They just got him at the beginning of the year from somewhere.
I know he's committed to USF. But James Perrone kid, that quarterback from Southridge, that's transferring over to St. Thomas now.
You better catch up. Yeah, I know. He went from St. Thomas to Central, and he went to Southridge to Central. Now he's at St. Thomas.
Right, he's at St. Thomas now, right? Yeah. That kid's a player, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, he's there at that level. He's not Miami type of kid, but then who is anymore?
Yeah. Vish, do you think, I want to ask this question to you. Do you think if you're a non-biased Canes fan, which I know there's not many of us out there. But if you're a non-biased Canes fan, do you look at next year? And it's a stupid, like, who cares question, but it's still interesting to think about. Do you put a guy like Malachi Tony and maybe even Mark Fletcher in the Heisman race, in the top 10 of Heisman potential winners for next year? And maybe even a Mensa, right? Mensa went 34-6. Like, how can you not think about putting potentially 3 guys on the Heisman list for next year?
Malachi, yes. Mensa, maybe. Lechner.
No.
It's not going to be consistently. We're not going to run the same offense. are going to be more.
He might not have the
he's not gonna run
huge numbers, anyways. Yeah,
he's not going to have the numbers, and he actually didn't this year until the playoffs when we
Didn't have any numbers coming into the playoffs.
Well, this is what one of the things we DJ and I talked about. Like, as much as everyone's like, "What are we going to do with all these running backs?" I'm like, we ran out of running backs at the end of the SMU game. Like, it was like, I know we played like until we experienced it. This is too much football, man. It's 16. Like, that was the midpoint of the season. Now it felt like that was the middle of the season.
I honestly forget about some of the season because
that was like game
ago.
7 or 8 or whatever, and we played another 8 games, so you forget that. Like, we got injured in that game, and they're like, the hell are we gonna do? We put Marty in. It wasn't the type of game that he thrives in. He struggled, and we lost.
And at that point, we didn't know what we had in Pringle, right?
Yeah, and Pringle was a break glass in case of emergency. In the next game, it's like, we're still not running the ball. What are we doing? And then finally, we got Pringle in there, and he started breaking some runs off. And
so I guess maybe we do need 6 running backs.
Well, I think look, if we're gonna look, so obviously we don't want to have to go on the road in the first round next year and all that stuff. But best case scenario is you play the ACC championship game as your 13th, and then you play 3 playoff games. It's going to be another 16 games. You're going to need all these running backs. Period. Like, there's no way you're getting through the season just handing it off to Fletch the whole year for 16 games.
Yeah,
like, you're going to need other running backs. So, I think they'll be aware of that. So that's why to circle back to the question Jazz asked, I don't think he's going to get the carries or the yardage to do that, because there are other teams that'll just hand it off to the one running back every time, 25 times a game. That'll have just, and then we're going to spread the ball around, because I agree with you on Lyle. Actually, I think he's going to play a big role next year too. So
I hope so, man. You know how I feel about that kid.
Yeah, so I think between him and Fletch, and then Marty getting in a lot of the short yards, Marty potentially stealing some of the touchdowns, that. Because as much as we watch every stat, those Heisman voters are like, what did the stats say?
Fletcher can run for 99 yards. He can run for 99 yards in that drive, and then on that 1st and goal, Marty Brown touchdown.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think they're going to try to do something to keep the wear and tear down, right? So
yeah,
I don't think Fletcher will be able to run the numbers, but I think Malachi's already on the top of a lot of people's Heisman list.
I mean, it's a no-brainer not to have that kid up there. I mean, it's unbelievable.
From a playing standpoint, he was one of the most mature freshmen I'd ever seen. I mean,
and he was only 18 years old.
Yeah, I honestly forgot he was a freshman. I thought the way he played, if I hadn't known he was a freshman, I would have thought he was a junior or even a senior. I mean, it was incredible how quickly he adapted to the college game.
Yeah, and what I'd say about him, and this is a testament to how good he is it doesn't look that like whoa when he's doing it, except he's just in the end zone. You're like, what? Really? Like, even on that last touchdown, like, really? He's just gonna run in from the 30-yard line in the national championship game against like the best defense in the country, and like they can't tackle him? Okay, like he didn't look like he did anything that was like so like, oh my god, I can't believe he did that. But then,
when he runs, it looks like he's walking.
I know
he does.
So
he doesn't look
good.
as fast as he is.
Good. Yeah,
it's
never
unbelievable.
seen anything like this, because even like I'm old enough to have like been in school when Devin Hester was here, and it looked like effort. Like he was ridiculous. He'd get the ball and score touchdowns, but it looked like wow.
It looked like you were pressing fast forward. It really did look like you were
pressing all the buttons on the controller in Madden.
He's so under control, even against Mississippi, that touchdown. Like, he catches that screen back, and all of a sudden he just splits the defense. He's in the end zone. I'm like, these are like this is against the best of the best. This kid's barely 18. Ridiculous.
Blue has a question.
I've never seen anything like that.
What happened? I gotta go eat. I haven't eaten dinner.
All right, Blue, real quick before we go. Yeah.
Do you think Mallory will redshirt?
Yeah. Where's it gonna go? I mean, where's it gonna fit? Unless he could play 9 games now. So
yeah.
I
don't know.
So, I mean, he'll be available.
Yeah, he can play.
But where's he going? I mean, we're trying to find Lyles a carry here. So
no shit.
Yeah, listen, it doesn't mean that he's not going to be valuable, but he is. I mean, he just had to, he'll get upset, but he sat all last year and didn't play with an injury, so it's not like he has never sat. So, He's great, but he's not better than who you got right
No, right.
now, really, to tell you the truth. I mean, and he'll be really good over the couple of years. Him and Pringle probably will be the two dudes, for this team. And I'm sure they're going to pick up somebody else in the next class. But but that's it here. I got a quick show and tell because I got to go eat. This is my night. This is my radio night, and I jump right here. 1982. I'll bring you back to here.
Woo!
They were
Let's go,
7-4. They were 7-4, but that kind of set the table for the future. They had, Willie Smith, whose son plays on our team now, or did, and Vinny Testaverde, as they called him, Vincent Testaverde. As a freshman, this was setting the table though, because some like Bernie Kosar was a freshman from Boardman, Ohio, and I remember this team really good. This was a great recruiting class when you think about it, because they got all those kids in the freshman in that freshman class. Even the guy who's their cop now who played on this team, Ed Hudak.
Oh yeah.
He even played on this team. Jim Kelly, who was a senior from East Brady, Pennsylvania, and Dave Heffernan, who I run into, Tony Fitzpatrick, who's at every game, good dude, lives in Houston now. But this is a good little rundown from back in the day. Kevin Fagan, who was a sophomore. There's a lot of dudes. Kenny Calhoun, Kenny Calhoun.
Oh yeah,
he started it all, and Tony Chickolo, and but these were great. I didn't realize what a great recruiting class this was, because look at all those freshmen that I mentioned that were really key. Don Bailey Jr. There he is, DBJ right there.
DBJ. By the way, Anthony Chickolo is a fireman now, if I'm not mistaken. He's a firefighter, along with Ja'Cory Harris. Yeah.
No, this was the father.
No, the son.
Yeah, this was the father. And that was it. But pretty nice, then
very, very appropriate. A year before winning the championship. So hopefully you're speaking it into existence.
That kind of set the table for the future. But I just didn't have a lot of time. I've been busy this week. Got a camp from what Vish said is going to be 18 degrees below zero. We're at the camp this week.
Where's your camp?
Orlando.
When are you coming? When are you going to Orlando? When?
The Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I'm leaving on Friday. Okay.
But I'm just saying that Vish said that we're going to be in the teens. What it feels like.
In Orlando, it's going to be like in the 30s. Yeah, it's going to feel like it's in the 20s. Yeah, it's going to be cold.
I'll be smiling.
On Sunday, South Florida, it's going to be in the 30s and 20s, and it feels like it's going to be colder.
You got to be kidding me.
Down here.
It's going to be 33 here tomorrow.
It was like 2 hours ago when we started this show, but I read there's potential for lows to drop in the 30s across a good portion of the region and even into the 20s west of Lake Okeechobee. That storm said y'all thought we were going to get away with it. Nah. I know. Yeah. I've been making fun of everyone at work, and now it's coming home to roost.
All right, guys, I'm going to run.
Hey, go eat, Blue. Take care.
All right, Blue. We'll see you, man.
All right, guys. See you next.
All right, we can wrap up here, too.
Finally, Blue's gone. Oh, yeah, right.
Now we can talk recruiting. Now that we got I'm just kidding.
I couldn't hear you. What'd you say?
What? I said now we can talk recruiting.
Oh,
Jazz. I can't hear Vish.
Jazz is frozen up, I think.
Are you frozen?
Can you hear?
I'm not frozen. DJ? Am I frozen?
No, I can hear you, Vish.
I can't hear him. That's so weird.
Huh.
Oh well.
Anyway.
Vish, you can take it away. I can't hear you, so just
we're playing the outro. Everyone, stay tuned to Sixers Canes every Monday 8:30. DJ and I'll be back Monday at 10 a.m. to talk more about the.
Did you say Monday?
And see. Sorry, Sunday. Sunday at 10 a.m. where I will be bundled up. Anyway, as always.
What did he say? What did he say?
Said we'll be back on Sunday for the
Six Rig Kane Show. Yeah. The Six Rig Kane Show. Yeah. The Six Rings Kane Show. You know.